Hello dear students, today I have taken a science subject from class 9. Your first chapter is matter in our surroundings. Let's see the introduction about this chapter. Uh, let's think about matter. So if we hear about this sound matter, um, we see around our surroundings there are so many things with different shapes and sizes and textures. So everything in the universe is made up of material which scientists have named matter. So in the below of this there is given the definition of the matter. Anything that occupies a space and has mass and is felt by senses is called matter. That means according to this definition it has to be a space and mass to be a matter. So according to this definition we can say the air we breathe, the food we eat, stones, clouds, stars, plants and animals, even a small drop of water or a particle of sand, everything is matter. We can also see as we look around that all the things mentioned above occupy space and have mass. In other words, they have both mass and volume. In early times, human beings have been trying to understand their surroundings. Early Indian philosophers classified matter in the form of five basic elements. It is known as Panchatattva. It is according to air, earth, fire, sky, and water. According to them, everything living or non-living was made up of these five basic elements. So what we can see, after that, ancient Greek philosophers had arrived at a similar classification of matter. Modern day scientists have evolved two types of classification of matter based on their physical properties and chemical properties or chemical nature. First, we'll see about the physical properties of this matter. So on article 1.1, what you can see, physical nature of matter. First is matter is made up of particles. Is it? Is it matter made up of a small tiny particles? Let's see. Let's see the proof of this heading. Mm, there are two basic things from the ancient times, that matter matter is like a wood. It's like a sand. It cannot move. So these are the things in ancient times. Now let us see the properties of matter. Really, is it made of particles? So in your textbook activity there is given some uh, practical to understand that matter is made up of particles. In activity 1.1 we can say take a 100 ml beaker, we have to fill half the beaker with water and mark the level of water. After that, dissolve some salt or sugar with the help of a glass rod. Observe any change in water level. So the question arises here, what do you think has happened to the salt or to that sugar? Next question, where does it disappear? Where does the level of water changes? Let's see the answer of this activity. In order to answer these questions, we need to use the idea that matter is made up of particles. What was there in the spoon, salt or sugar, has now spread throughout the water. This is illustrated in figure 1.1. Let's see, when we dissolve salt or sugar in water, the particles of salt get into the spaces between particles of water. That means all the salt has taken the spaces of water, or sugar has taken the spaces of water, which is mixed up with water. So from this we can clearly understand that all the matter is made up of particles, because we can see these tiny blocks of salt or sugar, it can change the taste of water. So from there we can think that there are so many tiny particles in a pieces of salt or sugar. Because of that only it can change the taste, or it can change the colors of a particles, sorry, of a matter. So now let's think, how small are these particles of matter? Is it very small, or is it large, in large amounts? Because these particles can change the taste or the color. Let's see, here is given some activity, activity 1.2. you can see here, take 2-3 crystals of potassium permanganate and dissolve them in 100 ml of water. Take out approximately 10 ml of this solution and put it into 90 ml of clear water. Now take out 10 ml of this solution and put it into another 90 ml of clear water. Keep diluting the solution like this 5 to 8 times. Is the water still colored? What you can see, estimating how small are the particles of matter with every dilution, though the color becomes light, it is still visible. This experiment shows that just a few crystals of potassium permanganate can color a large volume of water. So we conclude that there must be millions of tiny particles in just one crystal potassium permanganate, which keep on dividing themselves into smaller and smaller particles. So from this activity we can observe that in every matter particle is present. Now what you can see is these particles are tiny particles, but it is in large amount. That's why it can change the taste or the colors of a matter. Now let's see the characteristics of particles of matter. So what we can get here, first point it is particles of matter have a space between them. Let's see, is it really particle of matter have space between them? In activities 1.1 and 1.2 we saw that particles of sugar, salt, Dettol or potassium permanganate got evenly distributed in water. Similarly, when we make tea, coffee or lemonade, lemonade means nimbu pani, particles of one type of matter get into the spaces between particles of the other. So as we have seen the activity before this part, that salt or sugar, it is diluted into water, then it mix up with water and it changes the taste of water, as we have seen before. That means this shows that there is enough space between particles of matter.